Hey everybody, welcome back to episode number 2 of Empowered Recovery. If you haven't watched last week's episode, I would put bubbles up there, but I don't know how to do that, so go back and check out last week's episode, and let's get into this one. This week I'm calling it Trust the Process, and hopefully that'll become clear as I go on with my thoughts and all that today. But first let me share a quote. It says, "The price of success is hard work, dedication to the job at hand, and the determination that whether we win or lose, we have applied the best of ourselves to the task at hand." It's by the great Vince Lombardi. I'm a Cheesehead diehard Packer fan, so that's more applicable to it. I think that the statement, kind of with the journey I'm going on, that those of us that are kind of going through this process, whenever this might be, it's that hard work, dedication to what we have to do, what's at hand, and a key word, determination. So let me get into the surgery real quick. Surgery was Friday the 26th, so a week and a day ago. It was supposed to be 2 hours long, ended up being 4.5. It was much more complex than they thought. They had to do a ligament repair on top of it. What they thought was a small fracture hole. There was a trap door of cartilage that looked sort of healthy, but as soon as they poked through it, there was a giant vacant hole. So they had to pull some bone off the back of my heel, plug that in there. This whole big old deal. I saw some internal pictures Thursday at my 6-day follow-up, and it was nasty, but really cool too. So, it's one of those of kind of expect the worst, or prepare for the worst, so that way if it happens, you're kind of ready. I was not expecting that long of a surgery. But it is what it is there. But through it, I had an amazing support team. Crazy, my ex-wife was the one who took me to the hospital. We get along real well. She was there the whole time, constantly checking in on me, even though I was home alone with one of my kids after the fact, still asking how things are going. And then the street parking community was amazing. I had people reaching out to me, messaging, commenting, in all different forms of media and platforms. So just thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being there, and I know you're going to continue to be there and support me. Let's see here. So I kind of mentioned, I mentioned a little bit about being mentally prepared for the worst, and so that way you can kind of build your timeline of best case scenario and worst case scenario of how you're going to go about your beginning of your recovery. My best case scenario was starting to work out by a week. Worst case was 2 weeks. So that was kind of my plan going in. But obviously it's a lot about how you feel and where you think you're going to be at. Sorry, doing a lot of ums today. It's a lot of thought going in here. But, give yourselves that goal, but also be willing to adjust. You might need to give somebody control for you. I gave a couple of my guys that are rooting for the 365 shirt together, I gave them, hey, if I'm not working out by this day, get on me. And they kind of know if I wasn't, and they also know if I'm BSing and just making excuses. So thankfully I didn't have to use them. I started working out beforehand. I got 2 workouts in, and we'll get into that in a minute. But they were extremely helpful. And I think, but be willing to adjust. Set those goals. So maybe set a parameter like, hey, between week 1, week 2, I'd like to be able to start moving. And just kind of, consider those little adjustment moments. Seems simple, but I think a lot of times we set a hard and fast deadline, we don't meet it, and we set ourselves up for failure. So, like I said, I gave myself a week, was kind of where I was at, and I started working out. My first workout was Tuesday. Surgery was Friday. Did 2 WODs. I still have the weekend. I'm going to plan on doing a Suns Out, Guns Out, a little upper body today. But what I noticed was, and this isn't very shocking, but as my heart rate would elevate, even with my modifications, my foot would just pulsate really bad, and it became uncomfortable. I know I wasn't doing damage to it, but it just got to the point where it was bad, and I said I'm done. I would sometimes, one of the workouts I took a minute break after a round each time, just to get my heart rate down and calm down. The other one I just said after 2 rounds I'm done. So it's being flexible, but to me, being consistent is important. And that's kind of why I wore my Choose Your Own Adventure Street Parking Challenge shirt today, because one of the teams was consistency. And I think that is a great key for right now. Is just I need to consistently keep moving and continue and following my plan and trusting that process. So but no matter what, I'm stealing a line from one of my favorite YouTube channels called the Manitowoc Minute. But no matter what, keep her moving. So to me, it's just about continuing to move in whatever fashion that's going to be for you. So some of the modifications I did this week in my 2 workouts, and I'll tag videos at the end of this, were plank shoulder taps. It called for regular full plank. I did them on my knees, put a 20-pound weight vest on me to make it that much harder, but I wasn't hurting the foot. Instead of lunges, I was doing a single leg 20-pound weight vest stand-up squat. Seated dumbbell snatch, it was supposed to be two dumbbells. I just did 1, and I did it seated. And that was, and then the assault bike, I did it on 1 leg instead of 2 legs, and so I was using 3 points of contact, and I just adjusted the calories on there. So I said at the end I'm going to put a couple videos of some of the adjustments or modifications I made, and the last image will be an image of my ankle. If you want to see the caterpillar looking incision, there's actually 3 little spots, but you only really see the big one on there. So with that, kind of trusting the process, I want to keep this pretty short or shorter. It's already gone longer than I'd like. But just remember, it's a long road ahead. No matter if it's a simple injury, whatever, it's a long road. 6 weeks feels long, 4 weeks feels long. You've got a ways to go till you're back to normal. So give yourself that ability to understand that there's going to be setbacks, and there's going to be days where you feel amazing and you feel like you want to push, and then the next day you're not. And that's kind of what I'm trying to start wrapping my head around, because I know those days are coming up. Like the moment the boot comes off, I've been through it before, and I know it's going to suck. I'm going to feel good one day and bad another. So I just need that mentality of this: trust your process, trust it. It's going to happen as long as you stay consistent. And I want to leave you with one last quote before I go to the pictures and images. But it's: stay focused and stay determined. Don't look to anyone else to be your determination. Have self-determination. It will take you very far. It's by an actor named Justice Smith. And I just think, to me, that is on point. Like, yes, I need that support network that you guys are providing of encouraging and keeping me on track. But I think it's extremely also important that I be that self-starter. I'm that spark plug, that I'm the one, because I can hide from you guys. I can not respond to any messages. I could lie to people and say, yeah, man, I'm really working hard, but I'm sitting on my house doing nothing. So you need to be accountable to yourself as well. So as it says, stay focused and stay determined. Don't look to anyone else to be your determination. Have self-determination and self-accountability. I think that as well. It will take you very far, and I think that's extremely key. So at the end, we're going to see some of those modifications, and like I said, that last picture, it's not too gross, but figured I'd put it in there. So you guys have a great one. I'll see you next week for week 3, or episode 3, and we'll see how I'm going on my workouts and recovery, and we'll see you then. Have a good one, guys.